Srinivasan is a professor in the Department of Information Studies at the University of California, Los Angeles. Ramesh, you're joining us from LA. It's good to have you on the program. Look, I want to ask you,
thank you,
how much of this surprises you, or perhaps it doesn't? The first thing we found out, the actual investigation that the Israeli military, not unlike the NSA in its time, was sweeping up all these phone calls by Palestinians in Gaza and the occupied West Bank, number one. And then number two, that Microsoft didn't know about it. Like, how much of this surprised you?
I mean, there's a lot to this story, and it's quite interesting. I mean, first of all, people should know that the Israeli state and the Israeli Defense Forces, or IDF in particular, are experts in surveillance. I mean, traditional spyware often came out of Israel, including the Pegasus spyware, right? So there are even some allegations that Israel has used its technology to spy on folks in the United States and, or of course, spy on some of its adversaries in the Middle East and beyond. So that's one part of it. Second is, I think, to note that Microsoft claims here that they did not know, or that Israel did not tell them, or they were not forthright about the use of their cloud technology, and that was a violation for Microsoft. But remember, this is just an ongoing review. We don't know what will actually occur. And we should also understand that Microsoft and companies it owns are in the business of surveillance. Maybe not mass surveillance of people undergoing a genocide or people essentially trapped in the West Bank, but some type of surveillance is a huge part of big tech in general, and many big tech companies are currently working very actively with Israel on surveillance and much worse, drone warfare, automated technologies to kill people, essentially. So companies
Ramesh,
like
can I jump in there
huge,
for a second? Because Microsoft would push back against what you're saying. I don't have their statement right in front of me, so I'm going to have to paraphrase. But in their statement, they do say, and they said to their employees, our technology was not designed for the purpose of mass civilian surveillance. That is not what we do, and that is not how we allow our customers to use our technology. That's what their statement says. So they're saying, we didn't know that the Israeli military was using our data storage that way. Do you believe that?
Right. If it's merely data storage technology, you can understand that. But there are also ways in which the data storage technology could actually be somehow protected from certain types of searches, right? But at the same time, we know just recently, with Mustafa Suleiman, the head of Microsoft's AI, he was confronted in front of Microsoft audience for AI technologies that Microsoft has been selling and using with the Israeli Defense Forces. So that's a different story here, right? So we have to look and scrutinize at the technologies and overall the corporation and what it's actually doing, rather than assume that Microsoft is taking a more, in my opinion, benevolent route when big tech clearly does not do that, generally speaking, including Microsoft itself.
So from the point of view of the Palestinians who are being targeted by this surveillance in Gaza and the occupied West Bank, we're talking about millions of Palestinians, ordinary civilians, all their phone calls are being swept up, recorded, can be played back and analyzed by artificial intelligence. That's what we found out in this, what is, by the way, a great piece of journalism. From their point of view, they have no certainty that the surveillance has stopped. Like, nowhere in this investigation are we told the surveillance stopped once, the investigation was published. What the journalists have revealed is that when the information became public, the Israelis pulled all this data from the Microsoft data center in the Netherlands. And it goes on to say, it may be that they then put that data with, or stored that information with Amazon, but there's been no comment from Amazon.
Yes. Right. And big point that Amazon is very involved in this as well. From the perspective of Palestinians, 99% of whom are completely innocent in all of this and are being targeted, there should be no confidence whatsoever that they will not be surveilled simply because of one decision of an ongoing review, not completely finalized around cloud storage, when Microsoft and many others sell surveillance and drone and killing technologies. It's hideous. I mean, literally, their big tech sells technologies like the Lavender technology, which calculates collateral damage, like how many innocent people's deaths are worthwhile. The answer should always be that we fight towards none, right? So, this also is potentially a public relations move, right? With the UN General Assembly, many people are fed up with this. They want this to end. The vast majority of the world population, I would also say the American population, as messed up as things are, do believe that this is an unfair and ongoing, I don't know if the word is genocide, but something along those lines.
Ramesh Srinivasan, a professor in the Department of Information Studies at the University of California. Thank you very much.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.